Today I'm going to tell you an interesting story about the life of St. Peter Claver. St. Peter was also known as the slave of African slaves. He was born on June 26, 1580, in Verdú, Spain, to a humble farming family. From a young age, he showed great intelligence and a deep sense of compassion. At 13, he left home to study at the University of Barcelona, where he felt a calling to religious life. He later joined the Society of Jesus, or Jesuits, and dedicated himself to serving others. During his studies, he met Father Alonso de Sandoval, a missionary who worked with enslaved people in the islands of the Americas. Inspired by Sandoval's work, St. Peter felt called to serve the African slaves who were being forcibly taken to the Americas. In 1610, he traveled to Cartagena, Colombia, a major slave trading port, where he was ordained a priest in 1616. For over 40 years, St. Peter devoted himself to ministering to enslaved Africans who arrived in Cartagena under horrific conditions. Every day, he would go to the docks with food, medicine, and comfort, caring for their wounds and speaking to them with kindness. Since many slaves didn't understand Spanish, he used simple gestures and interpreters to share the love of Christ. According to records, he helped and baptized over 300,000 slaves. This earned him the title, the Slave of the Slaves. Despite his work, St. Peter faced enormous criticism from slave traders in the ports. Even some church officials in Colombia who saw his compassion as disruptive in the port's daily business trades. But St. Peter stood still. He visited hospitals, prisons, and plantation farms to care for the sick and dying slaves. In his final years, St. Peter fell ill and was left neglected in a small room. He died on September 8, 1654, at the age of 74 from a disease related to Parkinson's and fever. The city officials in Cartagena, who previously considered him a nuisance in the ports, ordered a public funeral and he was buried with great ceremony. Only then did the residents in Cartagena realize that St. Peter had baptized hundreds of thousands of Christians when he was still alive. Later, his body was taken to a Jesuit residence church in Cartagena, which was later named Iglesia de San Pedro Claver to honor his name. His body was placed under the altar of the said church until this day. Since then, countless miracles happened under his intercession, and in 1888, St. Peter was canonized by Pope Leo XIII. Today, he is celebrated as the model of Christian charity and the patron saint of African missions and human rights advocacy. His feast day is celebrated every 9th of September. If you like stories like this, follow, like, and subscribe.